Mission accomplished for the Springboks for the month of July. I can't think of a better way to describe things after our 55-10 win over Georgia. And in this episode, you are going to get a front row seat as I describe how we went about dismantling the Lelos in Nelspruit. I'll also tell you what I liked and what I think we need to work on ahead of the Rugby Championship. Firstly, Neethling Fouche tearing up during the national anthem was so heartwarming to see. I could relate, man. I know you might think I'm a wuss, but I tear up every time during our national anthem. And I don't care what anyone says, it's the most beautiful national anthem in the world. Fouche making his international test debut at the age of 32. Rather late than never. Captain Siya Kolisi was back, which I thought was great to see. I think we missed his leadership in the earlier test matches this month, but he was off in the second minute for an HIA. He was hit by Ilya Spanderashvili, and 30 seconds later, the Georgians were in the lead. Their pack hurt us at the maul, and hooker Vano Karkadze went over.
They set 7 metres out from the line, wrapping around the corner here. The Springboks running out of numbers. Great momentum here for Georgia. In over the line.
Luka Matkava converted, and it was 7-0 to the visitors. It's not the first time in July we've seen our pack hurt in a maul. Remember that 30-metre drive by the Italians that resulted in a try as well? First scrum on the 6-minute mark was good. Georgia are famous for their scrum and the zeal with which they approach scrumming. Buan Fenter particularly impressive in that first scrum for me. We got ourselves a scrum penalty and now it was our put-in. We didn't get the domination we wanted, and so Grant Williams went with a tap and go. That also was stopped before we got another penalty. It looked like we were going to try and score our own try from a line-out maul drive combo, but we didn't quite do it that way. Instead, we played the phases, and after a series of pick and goes, it was Fenter who went over. Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu struck the post with his conversion, so the visitors still led at the Mbombela Stadium. We would, however, claim the lead soon enough. Captain Kolisi was back on the field in time for a line-out. And of course, we formed a maul, and it was Handre Van Der Merwe who drove over. Feinberg-Mngomezulu unsuccessful with the conversion. So, first try to our number 1, second try to our number 2. Would our third try come from our number 3? Well, not next up at least, although Kane Moody does have a 3 on his jersey. Grant Williams with the initial line break that created the space and the chaos in the Georgian defence, eventually Moody scoring in the corner.
To the cannon! Moody!
Not helping Feinberg-Mngomezulu, who missed again. But impressive strength from our outside centre. We saw him score in similar fashion against Italy last week. It's almost as if at least 2 men need to be hanging on Moody, and that will result in a Canaan try. Matkava brought the Lelos closer to our score in the 29th minute with a penalty. So 15-10 at that stage, and got to say, Georgia were doing well. They competed with us at the breakdown, and their pack was doing everything their coach Richard Cockrell would have asked of them. They are hardworking and love the physical stuff. And just like Italy, they were disrupting us at the breakdown and doing so to great effect. We need to address this area before the Rugby Championship. You could, however, see that when we got our backline buzzing, we looked like we likely had too much for them. But you need that to be something that is more consistent than what we were doing, unfortunately. Well, we just need another 5-metre line out, you see. Maul, drive, you know the drill. And instead of Neethling Fouche, our number 3, it was our number 2 again, Handre Van Der Merwe with his second of the evening.
Forward. And it is moving now. Van Der Merwe waiting for his opportunity to pounce on the line.
Another tricky kick for Sacha, but this time the fly half slotted it. 22-10. Now I will say that for large parts of that first 40, we actually looked a tad on the sloppy side. But after that second Marnus try, we again had the ball from the other Van Der Merwe, Edwill, winning yet another high ball for us. That man is sublime in the aerial battles, I tell you. It led to a nice backline move that saw Damian Dialende grubber through. It put Aka Tabutsadze under pressure, the Lelos right wing, then hunted down by Peter Steph du Toit. Georgia did manage to get the ball back, but the attempted clearance by Vasil Labzanidze was charged down by Eben Etzebeth, and the Georgians were scrambling. But no more for the rest of the remaining first half minutes. And so 22-10 to South Africa at the break. An okay first half, to be honest. Georgia excellent up front, especially in the mauls and breakdowns. The Boks better in the scrums. And when that ball was in the back line, we were looking more than decent. It didn't take long before Venter, Van Der Merwe and Fouche were off. So no try for Neethling. That's because the bomb squad were on in the 45th minute. Thomas the Tank du Toit, Bongim Bonambi and Vincent Koch, aka Mr. Incredible. If you know, you know. And their first task was to help at a 5-meter line out. Of course it was. Ergier Snyman was also on for Eben Etzebeth. Unfortunately, Bongi's throw was intercepted. But Georgia couldn't get out of their in-goal area, so we had a 5-meter scrum. We needed 2 of them, but from the resultant pressure, Grant Williams sent the ball out wide to our right wing, and the only Van Der Merwe left on the field, Edwill, would score his 5th try in 3 tests.
Short of the line, Williams clears, over the top, Edwill Van Der Merwe, he's in again!
By the way, just a word on the strength and power on show there by Peter Steph du Toit. Great to see the Malmesbury missile in that kind of form. We've missed him. Feinberg-Mngomezulu again missing. I think it's fair to say he's had better days with the boot. His kicking was so below par in this test that his test career success rate has now dipped below 70%, which he will know is too low. Having said that, Rassie Erasmus did reveal after the match that Sacha actually hurt his hip during the warm-up and he was sent for a late fitness test. Yes, he wanted to play, showed the desire, which Doc was appreciative of, and Rassie agreed that Sacha could play. He gave him the green light. So this is not like last year when Sacha was carrying, it was a knee injury as I recall, and he concealed that from Rassie. On this occasion, it was a known injury. Sacha knew about it, Rassie knew about it, which is perhaps the most important thing, and between the two of them, they decided that it would be okay for him to play. So just so that everyone is very clear on what happened there, because I saw on X, there were 1 or 2 very nasty comments about Sacha and him supposedly again hiding an injury from the coach. That is not what happened on this occasion. Okay, so if somebody says that to you, you can tell them that that is not what happened because you got that information here on Front Row Rugby, okay? Now, our start to the second half was certainly better, in my view, than what we saw in the first half. I'll speak to that after I complete the match highlights for you. And that next highlight again comes to you courtesy of a scrum. We win the contest. Grant Williams and Handre Pollard pull the Georgian defence before leaving Damian Willemse with 2 Lelos defenders to beat. And he does it. Of course he does. Pollard converts and it's 34-10. The supposed old man showing the young pretender Feinberg-Mngomezulu and the flair fly half with a cult following Manie Lebok that he still has a lot of kilometres in his tank. Now, while I was just saying how much better the Boks looked early in the second half, once again, it seemed as if there was a drop in intensity. Now look, I accept that the other team can also play rugby, because sometimes we act like it's against the rules or something, right? It's if we're not quite doing what we want us to be doing, then it's our fault. We seldom say, hey, you know what, those guys, they're actually doing a good job here, and that's why we're not able to do what we want to be doing. It's not like we have a divine right to just pitch up and run anyone riot, or everyone for that matter. And we were doing everything required of us up front. And this is important, because I think given the chasm in the world rankings, it would have been nice for us to put more points on the board here, as well as Italy in the previous 2 tests. But you know what? We might not have been special in attack, but we defended very well. And that's our traditional strength, isn't it? And Georgia were here to play. And they played properly. They actually showed that with a bit of support, they could well become a regular and legitimate top 10 rugby nation. Sadly, World Rugby only pays lip service to Tier 2 nations, and the Six Nations have shown no real interest in getting them involved. But in any event, they did well here, and we did well to defend their attacks, and that's not always the sexy stuff. But I'll show you what is sexy. A series of pick and drives by our world champions before Faf De Klerk chipped it over exquisitely for Edwill to race through and dot down.
Pops on over the top, the chase is on. Edwill Van Der Merwe, he is a machine.
This man now averages 2 tries per test. He is a try-scoring machine. Can we also just talk about Faf for a moment? I think we missed him when he was injured. He may very well not be our number 1 9 anymore, but I thought he was outstanding when he came on. De Klerk proved himself as fast as ever in terms of arriving at the breakdown, and his distribution speed and accuracy is arguably as good as it's ever been. And make no mistake, it's good. It's damn good. Not bad for a man whose reputation is as an expert box kicker. Lions fans, of course, will tell you otherwise, and that they always knew that that was not who Faf really was. And yes, there was time for 2 more tries. This beauty from Kirtley Arendse. And how was that erge sny man offload?
To Williams, Grant Williams hits the switch to Kirtley Arendse.
And just before the final whistle, Handre Pollard would also go over.
Weighs up his options, popped it to Cott, away to Pollard, Handre Pollard!
And so 3 wins from 3 in the July test matches for the Springboks. 42-24 and 45-0 against an understrength but spirited Italian side, and 55-10 here against a tough Georgian side. Both sides gave us a workout and a reminder of what test rugby feels like. That's good. I don't think we were at our best this month though. There are lots of areas for improvement. The breakdown is my number 1 concern. But if Dr. Rassie Erasmus wanted players to get game time and to build depth, then that's exactly what he got out of these 3 tests. I also can't help but escape the feeling that I think Doc is holding something back for the Rugby Championship, especially for the All Blacks in New Zealand in September. And so with that in mind, I'm not going to be too harsh. Except for the second half in Pretoria against Italy, we were good without ever being brilliant. We did everything we needed to do to win these tests, and you can't really moan about that. For this win over the Lelos, I'm going to give our boys a 7 out of 10. And my man of the match is Handre Van Der Merwe. I know he only played 55 minutes, but he made a massive impact. The entire debutant front row was impressive, but Marnus for me showed Doc that if there are any doubts over Bongi or Jan-Hendrik Wessels, then he is ready to step up. He threw in well at the line-out, scrummed well, showed good work at the breakdown, and helped himself to 2 tries too. What a debut. But what do you think? Do you agree the Boks have successfully completed their July mission? Or do you think we should have dominated these matches and actually failed to do that? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, why not help me out with a super thanks? That's the heart button with the $sign inside of it. You'll be able to make a highlighted comment. I'll hit the love button on your comment, and I promise to reply too. You'll also have the opportunity to make a small donation to my channel. It's whatever you want it to be. It can be 10 Rand or 10,000 Rand. The reason I'm asking for your help is because I would love to do this full time. I would also love to go to Australia in 2027 and cover the Rugby World Cup for you from down under with daily coverage. But I'll need your help to make it happen. Whatever you're willing to contribute, I'll be very, very grateful. And if you used to work at Eskom and you got a lacquer payout, then I'm counting on you to do the right thing. If you're not yet ready to support me in that manner, you can also just spear tackle the like button, and you can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And you may have noticed the junior Springboks are the under-20 world champions. I put together a full review of how our boys beat the baby All Blacks and conquered the world. That video is on your screen over here. And if you've already seen it, why not check out this exclusive interview with former Springbok fullback Ricardo Loubser? You'll be amazed at what he reveals. That's on your screen over here. and I'll see you next time.